Hello, my loves, and welcome to Create Your Life. My name is Simone Leah, and I am your host. And today I'm super excited about today's episode because I'm giving you my 3 tips to staying in alignment when you're traveling. And I feel that when you are traveling, it's really easy to get caught up in the moment of what you're doing and where you are and exploring and having fun. And it's not that you get out of alignment while you're doing that, because all of those things are so fabulous, especially if you're staying present in the moment. But I do feel like sometimes it can become a little bit ungrounding and unsettling. And you can sometimes get so caught up in what you're doing that you stop connecting in with yourself and you just start going with the flow, or you just get so caught up in what you're doing that you kind of ignore the flow, if that makes sense. So like there'll be things that you think you should do, and so you will be trying to do them, but you just can't because you're just like, that's not in alignment with me, but my brain wants to do this. I know that this is what I want to do, but it's not in alignment. And it's this real push-pull situation. So I just wanted to share with you guys the 3 main practices or things that really help me to stay in alignment with when I'm traveling. And I will go into more detail about these as the video goes on. But the first one is having a daily practice of some kind. So I'll share with you my daily practice so that you know what I'm doing and can create your own. The second thing is obviously making sure you are having that time to check in with yourself. And I will explain why this is relevant as well. And the third thing is really knowing what you need to nurture and have self-care for yourself while you're traveling. So I'm going to dive into these. The first thing is having a daily practice that you stick to. So I don't mind what that is for you. For you, it might be getting up and going for a walk or doing an hour's exercise, or it might be getting up and reading a book or writing in your journal. For me, it's meditation, and it can be any form of meditation for me. I'm okay with mixing up the types of meditation I do. Sometimes I'll do a silent meditation. Sometimes I'll do a meditation where I'm listening to different sounds that align with the chakras and I just let things go. Other times I do guided meditations. It doesn't really matter what the meditation is, but to really stay in alignment when I'm traveling and moving around a lot and experiencing lots of different things, that practice of meditation really helps me. And it's literally anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes a day. And that is it. Like that's me done. And by just doing that daily practice, it gives me an anchor when there's so much change going on. Because when you are traveling, you're seeing new things, you're eating new things, you're talking to new people, you're staying in new places, you're experiencing new experiences. And it's so beautiful and it's so like amazing and fun and vibrant and lively, but it's constant change. And by having your daily practice of, as mentioned, it could be exercise for you. Like I know a lot of people, they stick to a strict exercise routine even when they're traveling. And that's what keeps you that grounded and in alignment and connected to selfness, because it's that one constant thing that you're doing that's helping you to really stay connected to yourself and to have that one routine that works for you and keeps you okay and keeps you in alignment and keeps you feeling like your best self, so that you can keep moving forward and making aligned decisions all the time and listening to that inner voice and doing the things that you want to do. It's really just about finding that one thing for you that's going to help you feel that. You might not know what that is right now, but when you're traveling, you're going to figure it out, because there's going to be something that you're like, I really need to do this every day. And like, it could literally be, I just need to go for a walk and get out of the house every day. I can't, or it might just be, I need to go and sit under a tree and read a book for half an hour every day. You'll know when you're traveling what it is you need if you just ask. So if you're not sure what that is for you, just ask yourself, what do I need today? Or is there something I can do every day that's going to help me to stay in alignment? And just listen and feel into it, and even feel into what I'm saying. if you think about what I'm saying and you know you want to have your own everyday practice that you do that keeps you feeling aligned and grounded, when I say the words to you, go for a walk for 30 minutes every day, how does that feel to you? Does that feel like a yes or a no? Or does that feel like, yes, that's what I need? Or does that feel like, oh, I can't even think of anything worse? For me, if my practice was going to a gym every day, I actually can't, I can't think of anything worse than traveling and having to find a gym and go and stare at walls and do exercise. For me, that's a complete no. And I know that for me, but going for a walk is way more of a yes for me because it gets me outside, breathing fresh air. I don't have to find anything. I don't have to do anything. I can live anywhere and go for a walk, That's a lot more of a yes for me. Meditation is a lot more of a yes for me because I can do that at the beach. I can do that in my house. I can do that on the balcony. I can literally do that at the park across the road. Meditation for me is also a yes. And when I'm traveling, I want to go to things that feel easy for me and in alignment for me. And for you, that might be exercising at a gym. For you, that constant of going into that environment might be what helps you to feel your best. It might help you to feel centered. It might help you to feel aligned and grounded. And so it's just starting to develop that awareness of what it is for you that's going to help you to stay in alignment, especially while you're traveling and your routine is so everywhere. When you're traveling, your routine is just everywhere. Some days you're here, some days you're there, some days you're eating your normal food, some days you're eating completely different food. Everything is just so new and different, and being able to listen to yourself and learn what you need and what can ground and align you every day is going to be one of the best things you do. And you will notice when you don't do that practice, especially if you don't do it for 2 or 3 days, you'll start to feel that little bit like, oh, I need to do this. I need to look after myself, And so I feel like it's really one of those things that it's a self-discovery journey. It's a self-awareness journey of finding what works for you, and the power that you have in knowing what you need, it spills over into all areas of your life. You don't just ask in the morning, what do I need today? You can literally listen to what you need in every single moment. Someone can suggest something to you and you can just literally think to yourself, do I need that right now? Is that what I need to do? And you'll get a yes or a no feeling in your body. The yeses feel so light and expansive, and the no's just feel like restrictive and not nice. I don't feel nice. A no. So that is my tip 1. Find one thing that you can put into your life every day. It doesn't have to be an hour long, can be 10 to 20 minutes. As I said, mine changes every day. I have some meditations that go for 15 minutes, some that go for 11 minutes, and some that go for 20, or some that go for even longer. So it's not about necessarily the time of the activity. It's about finding the activity and the time for you, if that makes sense. So if an hour in the gym is what works for you, do that. If 45 minutes of journaling is what works for you, do that. If 5 minutes of journaling is what works for you, then do that. Find what works for you. So that is tip 1 for staying in alignment when you're traveling. Tip 2 is making sure you have you time at least once a week. Now, I know how this sounds, because why wouldn't you have you time? You're traveling. Of course, you're going to have you time. Most of your trip is you time. Your whole trip is you time. You planned the trip, And I think that sometimes people forget how important you time is. So in my everyday life, I live a life where I'm doing things for me. I live in my alignment. I live in my purpose. I don't tend to say yes to things that are a no for me. And I still need me time, and when I'm at home, that me time for me when I was living in Australia was every single week I would spend an hour to an hour and a half at the beach every single Saturday or Sunday if I couldn't do the Saturday. And not in the sun. I would literally sit under a tree that had some beautiful dappled light, and I would meditate, I would journal, I would not think, I would think. It was just an hour and a half of really connecting in with myself. And I really notice when I don't have that every single week, and it's literally only 1 to 1.5 hours a week. And when I started traveling, I was traveling with other people. and I loved it. It was really amazing. But because I had other people in my space, I didn't really feel like I was getting you time as often as I needed it. And what worked for me when I was traveling with other people was literally just to go out to lunch by myself with my journal and literally just sit there. You know, sometimes I would write, sometimes I wouldn't. I would eat something tasty. I would just chill out and just watch the people and just feel so much gratitude and connection for where I was and what I was doing. And just allowing myself that space of an hour and a half where I didn't feel guilty about anything. I didn't feel worried about anything. I didn't have to be anywhere. I didn't have to do anything. And I would always allow 2.5 hours for this process, but I'm generally always good with an hour to an hour and a half. But I would always allow it so that I didn't have a time limit. I could just take the whole day if I needed it. Not really, but I would always allow 2.5 to 3 hours so that I had that time for as long as I needed to really feel that me time for myself, that connection to myself, that level of support and grounding and nurturing and being there for myself and honoring myself for that hour to an hour and a half, where whatever came up and it was totally fine, you know. And I think that that's so important when we travel, because of the fact that often we are traveling with other people and we are out of our routine and we are in our heads thinking, I am doing everything I want to do. I am having me time, but having a designated hour and a half where you can really honor yourself and whatever is coming up for you, it's kind of like a timeout. I kind of think of it as my little timeout every week where I just let go of everything and just connect back in. And that is so powerful. And I still do that now, you know. I'm not traveling with other people right now, but still once a week, I will find some way to have me time. And the other day I went to the beach on Friday. I went to the beach and I was at the beach for an hour and a half and I had my journal with me and I don't think I wrote anything in it, but I just chilled out and I observed my thoughts and I observed my mood and I observed my environment. And I was so grateful for everything. And I just had that time for myself, you know. And I just think it's so powerful when you're traveling to not lose that time and connection that is so important. And I think that when you are traveling, because you're so here, there, and everywhere, it's even more important to really take the time to connect in with you. So that is my next tip, an hour and a half a week of you time, whatever that looks like for you. Could be anything. I mean, you might want to paint or you might want to journal or you might want to do whatever that you time is, but it is different to your daily routine. Your daily routine is something you do to keep you grounded and connected to yourself. Your you time is kind of like your time out time, you know, it's your time out time for yourself. And it's a beautiful thing and it's a different energy. It's that time you're giving to yourself to really just feel whatever is happening for you. So it's beautiful, but it's a separate thing to your daily practice, if that makes sense. And the third tip I've got for when you're traveling and wanting to stay in alignment is know the self-care practices that you need for you personally. So for you, it's going to look different to me because on my trip, I'm still wanting to get work done and record podcast episodes, YouTube episodes, that sort of thing. So for me, I am taking my self-care very seriously because I still want to be able to work. Your self-care practices may be more about you just having the energy to explore everything you want to explore or do the tours that you want to do. But knowing what your self-care practices are that are going to keep you feeling great and in alignment for your travel and your trip is so important. And I'm going to just give you a few here. Self-care practice number 1, know how much sleep you need. So if you're traveling, I think that it's really, I know you've kind of got to make this balance against doing the things you want to do and getting enough rest to keep moving forward. So for me, because I'm working and I'm filming things, I don't want to look tired on camera. So I have to get enough sleep and I have to have enough brain power to be able to do the other things I want to do, which while I'm here is dancing. So I need to balance the amount of sleep I'm getting with the life I'm living. And over here, the life I'm living is so different to at home. I go to bed like at least 5 hours later than I would at home. Like at home, I'd go to bed 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Here, you go to bed between 12:30 and 2. And that's just the life that they have here. And to do what I want to do, which is the training that I'm doing here, the dance training, I need to follow the timetable that they've got. And that timetable for that training has me finishing training at 11:30. So by the time I get home and shower and bed, it's 12:30. So it's a different life. And I've had to really find and adjust to sleeping, because what worked for me before, which was getting up at 7 in the morning, it doesn't work for me here if I'm going to bed at 2, because I only have 5 hours sleep, and then I'm tired and I haven't allowed my body the chance to rest properly. I haven't allowed my mind to rest properly. My skin looks tired. And so one of the self-care practices that I highly recommend is knowing how much sleep you need. So I now have it scheduled in that I always get between 7 and 8 hours during the week, so that I can actually still work. And no matter what time I go to bed, I have to get that 7 to 8 hours, or I'm not going to be my best self for functioning and staying in alignment with what I'm trying to do. So that's one thing. Another thing for me is being really careful with my diet in terms of what makes me feel good. And that's a self-care practice as well, because I know that when I'm at home in Australia, I eat a lot of fruit and salad and vegetables. And if I'm traveling and I'm not eating as much fruit and fresh produce as I normally do, my body starts to feel really gross. And I feel like when we're talking about self-care practices and feeling good, your body feeling gross is not it. So I think also one of the big things I can recommend as a self-care practice is knowing the foods that you need to eat to feel good. Knowing that if you just eat pasta 3 meals a day, maybe that doesn't feel good for you, or maybe it does. I recently went to a dance event where the only restaurant that was open every day was burgers. I love burgers, but I don't love burgers twice a day. And so I had to plan for that and get other food, make sure I'm eating fruit, making sure I'm eating salad, and just making sure that I'm eating the food that feels nurturing to my soul, so that I can stay in alignment and I can feel my best. Another great self-care practice is just checking in with yourself. Checking in. Do I want to do this right now? Do I want to do that right now? What do I need to do right now to feel good? What is it that I need to do today? If I do one thing today to nurture myself, what is it? Even if you start with that one question, what is the one thing I need to do today to feel good? And your body might say, get an early night. Or your body might say, eat a salad, and just start checking in with yourself. Have that as a self-care practice. Checking in with yourself is a self-care practice, easily a self-care practice. Another self-care practice I would recommend is loving yourself. Now, I know how that sounds, but sometimes we just get so caught up in daily life that we just kind of forget. And I think that the easiest thing you can do is literally when you're having a shower, just take that time to love yourself and just be like, I love you arms. I love you legs. I love your hands. I love your body. I love your face. Love yourself in the shower. Have a self-care routine that involves loving yourself when you're in the shower. That is a big one, making sure that you're still loving yourself and checking in with yourself and connecting with yourself. And connecting with yourself is going to be the key to staying in alignment here. Listening for your yeses and your nos. Making sure you're doing the things that make you feel good. Making sure that your commitment to yourself is how you feel every day. I tend to eat quite a healthy diet, and people are like, you're so committed to your diet. And I'm like, the commitment's not to my diet. The commitment is to me feeling good. And when I feel good, I'm more in alignment. When I feel good, I'm happier. When I feel good, I'm lighter. When I feel good, I glow brighter. When I feel good, I get more done. When I feel good, I'm energized, and so taking the time to really check in with yourself every day and starting to understand what feels good for you is another key. developing that self-awareness of self, looking at the things you're doing that bring you joy, looking at the things you're doing that leave you feel energized, things you're eating, the people you're talking to, the media that you're watching or experiencing or listening to, making sure that all of that helps you to feel good within yourself, really taking a good look and having that self-awareness of what's around you and how it makes you feel. That is such a powerful self-awareness and self-nurturing practice, starting to understand what's around you and the energy that it gives you or takes away from you. That is such a beautiful thing to really develop that awareness about. That's really going to transform things for you when you're just trying to nurture yourself, really getting an understanding of the energy vibration that you're feeling with certain things, feelings, places, events, people, situations, foods, getting that awareness of how all that feels. That's really, really going to help you when it comes to creating a nurturing practice while you're traveling. And it's to stay in alignment and grounded when everything is changing so much. It's really nice to just know that you are in alignment. It's nice to know that you are solid, you are grounded, and you're okay. You're safe, you're happy, you're vibrant, you're radiant, you're just in alignment, you're glowing, and it's like just having this inner calm that's within you when the whole rest of the world is just moving and changing, and you just know that you're solid within yourself. You're connected to everything you need, all the time. You're connected to everything you need, and being able to stay in that alignment and that connection is such a beautiful and powerful thing. And being able to harness that while you're traveling, which is one of those times when you're so out of your normal routine that it's probably one of the most important times to really be connecting to yourself and be staying in that alignment and know what works for you. That is going to be so powerful, because once you know that sort of stuff, you can use it every day. You can use it at home. You can use it traveling. You can use it when you're stressed. Whatever works for you, it's always going to work for you. And so understanding those things when you're traveling is literally beyond powerful, because it will help you to stay in alignment with your travels. And staying in alignment when you're traveling is going to literally open up the whole world to you, because you're going to be listening for the guidance of what's next. You're not going to have to think what's next. You're going to feel, is that next? Nope. What's next? Don't know yet. That's fine. That's totally okay. It's all right to not know what's next yet, because you'll know when you'll figure it out. You'll feel it. You'll feel what the next yes is. And that's amazing. That's so beautiful and so, so powerful. And I think that's the biggest gift of being able to travel, is being able to just experience it and be present and stay in alignment. And now I want to talk about presence, because being present is also to be in alignment. Being present is being connected to yourself and what's going on around you. And if you're present, you're in alignment with yourself. You're listening to yourself. You're listening to the moments. You're listening to what's happening around you. You're seeing, you're feeling, you're experiencing what's going on. And that presence is alignment as well. So I feel like presence is a whole thing that I should be doing a whole other talk on, a whole other video, so I will stop this one here, because I'm just going to go on a tangent. And really, guys, it's those three things to stay in alignment when you're traveling. It's those three things of: one, have some sort of thing that you do every day that grounds you. Have a self-you time, like have self-you, I don't know what to call that. Have you time. That's what I'm calling it. Have you time once a week for an hour and a half, whatever that looks like for you, just connecting with yourself and letting go of everything else. And the third thing, guys, just to wrap up, was know what is self-care for you and what is nurturing for you. I've given you so many ideas on this, and there are many more, so many more. Having a yoga practice is nurturing. Having a bath is nurturing. Journaling while having candles lit is nurturing. All of these things are going to bring you back to alignment within yourself. The list is endless. So just making sure you know what self-care and what nurtures you when you're traveling is going to help you to stay in alignment. Guys, I'm over here traveling in Europe, and I would love to hear what you guys are up to. I would love to hear what traveling you're doing. I would love to hear your 3 top tips for staying in alignment when you're traveling. Love to hear what you're doing. Love to hear if you're doing similar things to me in terms of your daily routines, in terms of your traveling, whatever you're up to. So please feel free to leave me a comment, connect with me, email me. I'd love to hear from you, and I can't wait to talk to you guys and connect with you again soon.